Here we go. You have a few lineup changes or confirmation for tonight?
Yeah, Pizzetta's going to come in, and Pearson will be out up front. And then on the back end, Kovacevic's in, and Struble out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the feeling of seeing Kirby back practicing with the team?
Well, we love seeing him around. We've actually had him in on our pre-scout meetings, me and Marty, for a few months now. So we get to see him on the game day mornings, but to see him on the ice, it's exciting, right? He's a big part of our future. So.
Is Dvorak ahead of schedule?
I don't want to comment on that because I'm not exactly sure about that. So I don't.
From what you've seen on Saturday against the Flames, what are some of the good things you've done that you would like to replicate, and on the other side, make sure that you correct some of the things that didn't work out for you?
Yeah. Offensively, I think we did probably enough to win the game. We generated a lot of chances. If anything, critically, offensively, we didn't get inside enough, and the goaltender saw too many pucks, but we had 21 chances, so that's normally enough to generate some goals. That was positive. There was negatives defensively and with our puck management and the offensive blue line, both off the rush and in our ozone play. When the puck gets high, we got to manage pucks better. Like we want to let our players make plays, that's for sure. And Marty is always encouraging that, but can't turn pucks over against Cal. Well, you can't turn pucks over against anybody, but especially against this team. So we talked about that as something that we certainly need to clean up. We need to be more engaged defensively and some breakdowns just with our system and stuff. And it's against a team like this with world-class players. You need just a group effort on the defensive side of the puck, and especially on the road when it's hard to get matchups. And we know they move their McDavid around with Draisaitl sometimes and things like that. So it's hard to get hard matchups, but collectively we need to be ready for that challenge.
Was it a difficult decision with Tanner? I don't know, he's a veteran guy and probably has a lot of value for other things, but how did that decision come about? It's difficult wiring that information to him.
Yeah, it's always difficult with a respected player that's played a long time in the league with the number of games that he's played. But that's something that we've kind of been talking with Tanner about, that we've been thinking about possibly taking out of the lineup. So it's not like it came out of nowhere for Tanner. I spoke with him yesterday. It's not something that he woke up today and found out about. We respect him a lot as what he's given us, but. We've got some pretty good young players that haven't been in the lineup that much, and we just felt, especially tonight, to get some energy, we thought Pez would be a good option.
David Reinbacher is with Laval now. Just wanted to see if you got a chance to watch much of him play and thoughts on him joining the organization here.
For us on the NHL staff, just the season's moving so quickly. I'd be lying to say I've watched a lot of his games, but he's obviously a very, very important player for us moving forward. And I know the whole organization's excited to get him over here. And it always takes a little bit of time to acclimate to the North American ice. So I feel it's going to be invaluable experience to get him some games this year to kind of tee him up for a good season next year wherever he plays.
And Chris Knobloch talked a little bit about coaching against you in the OHL. I want to get your perspective about coaching against him in the OHL and now the NHL.
Well, a very respected coach. In the Ontario Hockey League when he was there, he had great teams in Erie, and I always admired the way that his demeanor with his teams, and just there's so much player. The hockey world's so small that I've run across a lot of players that played for Chris, and it's nothing but positive. His reputation's very, very good. He's obviously a good coach. It seems like he has success anywhere he goes, and looks like he's doing the same thing here.
He brought up that first round series in McDavid's last year. And I guess you lost that series, but he was pretty impressed with the way you guys.
Oh yeah.
What are your memories of that playoff series?
Yeah, that was an exciting time in the OHL because we knew we had a generational player playing. And at the time I was coaching Sarnia. We had a young team, so we were a pretty big underdog in the first round, but. Yeah, we played them pretty hard. If I remember right, I think we beat them game 1. We were really excited about that, and I think they ended up winning in 5, I think. But we pushed them, We put them into overtime a couple times, and it was exciting. It was a good stepping stone for that young team in Sarnia to play against a player like that. So,
do you see similarities in in your team now with that Sarnia team, and you're kind of going against the power team?
I don't know, but I mean, it's the NHL, like in junior hockey, there's not as much parity, I would say, because if you're a younger team, you're just really not built to win. It's tough. I feel like we expect to win every game here. It doesn't matter who we're playing against at the National Hockey League level, and so tough to compare that.
Trevor, you said yesterday that you're in touch with Marty. Kind of a two-part question. Have you been today, or do you expect to sort of be in contact with him today? And part two, I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and not that you weren't ready for game one, but do you feel like you've had a little more time to be ready to be the head coach for this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to Marty pretty much every day. Yeah, we're going to have a little chat with him, with the staff, actually after I'm done here. So just to discuss a few things about tonight. So yeah, it's pretty constant communication with him. And then as far as the other question, yeah, it did happen quickly for sure, and things came at us, real fast. There was a morning meeting that had to be prepared that is not. It's just done differently, obviously, when Marty's around. It's his meeting, So, and plus just the emotions surrounding it. We had to be prepared for that meeting. I mentioned the other day we have a pretty good room, a tight culture, and the players didn't know what was going on, and it kind of came out of nowhere for them when we had that meeting in the morning at 10:30. So we had knew what was going to be happening the night before, but the players didn't. So that was a really important meeting. But yeah, it happened fast, and we feel like we got our feet under us a little bit. We've only had one game together in this format, but certainly feel a little bit more comfortable tonight than a couple days ago.
You had a good performance against Panthers, the Bruins, the Leafs. Overall, I mean, technically, defensively, how different is the beast here tonight compared to those teams who you had good performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a new challenge. I mean, they're a little bit of an outlier as far as what they bring offensively. There's no question about that. But we are leaning a little bit on how we were able to play against those teams that you just mentioned, that we played, pretty responsible game, and we gave ourselves a chance to win. And then like in Florida or say Tampa on the road, that's something we weren't quite able to do in seasons past. So we'll lean on that a little bit. We also played Edmonton pretty well when they were in at the Bell Center. So we lean on that a little bit about, just go back and just review that game and what we did well, and we limited their top guys for the most part. They scored a power play goal in overtime to beat us 2-1. So it was a good game for us. So we need more of that, but we certainly need. We can't have passengers. We need all of our players at the top of their game to win.
Two more questions, and then we're opening the locker room.
Are they more physical now? I mean, Edmonton than they were probably before.
Yeah, I think so. There's a little bit of heaviness to them, and they're organized and dangerous, and some teams, it's hard to really zero in on one thing offensively with them, because they're dangerous from all areas when you basically turn a puck over all the 200 feet. So they're very good off the rush, and they're very good in the offensive zone. So it's a tall task for us for sure, but we're excited. I think our guys are excited to play, and we'll be ready to go.
Trevor, how would you describe Slafkovsky's strength mentally as a 19 years old player?
I mean, yeah, we're really happy with his progression. It's not easy, especially in Montreal, to be first overall pick, and I think we've done a pretty good job with him, giving him a chance for success. It's at the beginning of the season he was struggling offensively, and I think that Nick and Cole kind of took him under his wing, and Marty had a lot of discussions with those three players, or in particular Nick and Cole, about helping Slav through tough times, and he's grown up a lot, and he's having a good season now, and he continues to get better and better. And we're putting him in tough situations. I mean, he's playing against top lines most nights, and so is Cole, and that's not easy, and that's not something that Cole Caulfield probably expected coming into this year, but we feel it's going to pay dividends for him down the road. If we want to win games, consistently in this league. We need our top players, those top young guys, to be able to defend, and we feel all three of those players have taken steps on that side of the puck this year.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, guys.
Je suis arrivé la première fois ici hier à l'Arena. Ça m'a rappelé des beaux souvenirs de cet été. Je pense que c'était une expérience incroyable, les World Junior. Puis c'était vraiment le fun de revenir aujourd'hui.
Quoi tu te rappelles le plus de ces mois-là?
Je te dirais vraiment que c'était la finale. La finale des World Junior, c'était vraiment... il y avait beaucoup de monde, puis c'était vraiment une ambiance électrisante, puis c'était vraiment le fun.
Ça a aidé de faire l'équipe. C'est pas tous les gars qui avaient voulu jouer cet été-là. Toi, t'es allé. Tu sens-tu que ça t'a aidé dans la progression pour être où t'es rendu aujourd'hui?
Ouais, c'est ça. Je pense que de jouer avec des meilleurs joueurs, les meilleurs joueurs au Canada puis les meilleurs joueurs au monde de ton âge, je pense que tu apprends beaucoup. Puis je pense que ça a été bénéfique pour moi d'avoir participé à ce tournoi-là.
Josh, salut. Comment tu décrirais le défi d'affronter Connor McDavid et Arber Xhekaj en tant que jeune joueur dans cette ligue?
Ouais, c'est sûr que ça va être des joueurs à surveiller, mais je pense que c'est des joueurs comme les autres. Puis il faut juste porter une attention un petit peu plus aiguë envers eux. Je pense qu'en des zones surtout, quand ils sont sur la glace, il faut que tu sois sur eux. Il ne faut pas que tu leur laisses d'espace. Puis je pense que le reste ça va bien aller.
Offensivement, c'est 9 buts à vos 5 derniers matchs. Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose, à ton avis, que vous pourriez faire différemment pour capitaliser davantage?
Ben écoute, je pense que c'est juste l'opportunisme qu'on manque. Les chances sont là. Juste la dernière game, je pense que c'est une vingtaine de chances qu'on a eues. Fait que je pense que on a les chances, il reste juste à la mettre dedans. Là.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. It's not even one of his good ones.
Really?
It's
Nice, actually. I'd love to see the other one.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
I think I've seen a couple.
Yeah, he's got a good game.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's a beauty.
He's on challenge for us tonight.
Just a thought on the challenge of playing a game against a team that has the kind of high-end talent these guys do, and as a deep core, how you kind of try and buckle down if you happen to be out there against them.
Yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, they're a really high offensive team. They've been getting a lot of success in the O-zone, and they'll put a goal on the board if you let them. So I think this game we got to really tighten up on the D zone and just try and earn pucks back quick and not let their good players just get a lot of touches.
One would think that being physical is the right way to go, but at times you get caught chasing a little bit against these types of players too. What's that balance like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends who you're out there against. If you're out there against Connor and Leon, like, you got to contain them. I mean, you're going to try to force it. They're going to spin off you and they're gone. So, yeah, it just depends on who you play.
What was it like for you to come back from that injury last year? And just, I know injuries are a part of it. You kind of learned something about yourself after that kind of injury and just working your way back to feeling the way you do now?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot of work to get back to where I needed to be, but I think I stuck with it, and now I kind of pick and choose my spots a little better and just think about things a little differently. So that's how I look at it. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
How would you rate the
Tu sais qu'il y a un peu moins de correctifs peut-être individuels, mais je pense qu'ils ont fait un excellent travail, honnêtement, pour le premier match. C'est deux gars qui ont beaucoup d'expérience, même si c'est pas en tant qu'entraîneur-chef derrière un banc, ils ont joué la game, ils savent comment ça marche, puis on est en train de bonne main.
Match de ce soir, toujours particulier, jouer contre McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, il faut le rentrer dans le lot maintenant aussi, c'est un petit peu de plus à surveiller.
Oui, c'est sûr, c'est des gars qui sont extrêmement bons offensivement, qui sont durs à contrer, puis c'est toujours spécial de jouer contre des gros joueurs comme ça, mais c'est de ne pas cesser de déconcentrer, jouer notre partie, puis bien jouer défensivement en premier lieu contre ces gars-là.
Vous avez bien joué contre eux autres quand ils sont allés à Montréal, vous servez de ce match-là un peu pour vous motiver, pour vous préparer?
Oui, pour nous motiver, je pense aussi pour faire des correctifs, on a des vidéos, ça fait pas si longtemps que ça non plus. On avait joué un bon match, on a des bons vidéos pour se baser là-dessus. Puis je pense que c'est d'avoir un bon début de match, ils vont sortir fort, puis ça va être à nous autres de sortir encore plus fort que les autres. Là.
Plays at a little bit slower pace, but has a little more size, can shield the puck a little bit better. Obviously, they both can make crazy passes and plays and shoot the puck pretty well. So I think it's a really unique challenge, especially when they get on the power play and stuff like that. So it should be a good test for us. Yeah.
To what extent is it a test also that they have the skill, but they seem heavier in the way they play also?
Yeah. They're definitely building up for playoffs, and maybe that's something that they thought they needed more, is that size and that physicality. And I think that, we can bring that game as well. We have guys that finish hits and play physical, and it's not always blowing guys up, but it's just it's finishing hits at the right time and killing plays, and that's something that even I try to work on a lot, and even not as the biggest guy, but you can be physical at the right times, and that makes it a lot harder, on teams. So, hopefully we bring that in our game tonight as well. Yeah.
And how beneficial is it to face these kind of matchups, but face them on the right way and have success? And you're pretty close in a few big matches you played lately. How much of this can serve you with the growth you're trying to have with this team?
Yeah, definitely. Like we were talking about as a D-core, in specific, but as a team for sure. Like we've had so many great games this year that I feel like we've been right there, overtime. I don't know how many one-goal games we've had. I think it's probably up to 40 now at this point. And that's huge because, you can tell there's a lot of belief in the room. But obviously things aren't perfect because we're not winning the game. So it's like we can take a lot of good things out of those matches and out of those finishes. And grow from it, like you said, yeah. And it's encouraging, right? It sucks to lose. It's the worst thing losing, but it's definitely encouraging when you come away from those games against the Bruins, against Avalanche, Rangers, and you're like, we're right there.
I'm just curious a little bit about how the things works with this door closed. Are you talking a lot about, hey, it's Connor McDavid tonight, or it's just business as usual?
A little bit of both. I think it's unique, you know, when you have a player of his caliber and of Draisaitl's caliber, and players like that, Kucherov, you know, McKinnon. It's like you have to play them differently than you would normal players. So I think there's a little bit of both. There's trust, you know, in the players that we have, but also it's like, okay, if 97 has the puck, like, might want to contain him a little bit instead of, you know, like rushing out against him. So you have to game plan that way for sure.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you, Jordan.